All right, so for circle graphs, we're going to use the results that we had from the histogram, and whatever interval you chose for your project, you're going to use that same interval as your categories for your circle graph. So the first thing you need to do is total up the frequency for all of your categories. So we would add 3, 7, 9, 4, and 2, and when we do that, we're going to get a total of 25. When we do that, that means that there are 25 kids in the class, just as for however many presidents or however many home run leaders you have, you're going to do the same thing. So we know our total is going to be a total out of 25 kids or 25 things. And so when we use the number 25, that's going to be what you use tomorrow when you fill in your chart. Your interval will be simply whatever you chose. If you chose 30 to 34, you can do the same thing. So we'll make it 34. We'll make this 35 to 39, and so on. What fraction is this of the total? So we'll go back to our histogram and our frequency table, and our 30 to 34 frequency is 3 out of 25. So we'll go here, we'll make our 3 out of 25 fraction, and then over here, what percent is that of the total? To do that, we would just simply divide 3 by 25 and multiply that by 100, and when you do that, you should get 12%. Now 12%. 12% is 0.12, and we're going to multiply that times 360 degrees. We want to find out what 360 degrees is as 12% of the whole circle. When we do that, we find out that our measurement is approximately 43.2 degrees. Now we don't want to put 43.2, we're just going to keep it as 43. So our measurement is 43 degrees, and we'll leave it just like that. So what I want you to do is, I want you to fill out the remaining, the next interval here, 35 to 39, and find out what it would be for a fraction, the percent, and then the degrees for 35 to 39. The frequency of 35 to 39 is 7 people had a test score of 35 to 39. Your job is to tell me the number of degrees and then the percent that is. Here's the chart again. Okay, so what you should have found was that 7/25 is 28%, and 28% times 360 gives you the number 100.8. Now remember I said we were going to round here, so 100.8 should get you a degree measurement of 101. And so with that, once you finish the rest of the chart, you should be able to have a total number of degrees of 360. So what I'd like you to do is go back to the frequency table and do the 40 through 44, 45 through 49, 50 to 54. And so what you're going to do is you are going to find the remaining degrees. What we would anticipate happening is that when you add up all the angle measurements, it should be approximately 360. So let's go back to our frequency, take a look and see that the remaining frequencies are 9, 4, and 2. Remember, the fraction is always out of 25. So 9, 4, and 2. And let's see what we can come up with for our remaining degrees as you fill in the remainder of the chart. Hit pause and do that now. So what you should have come up with was 12%, 28%, 36, 16, and 8% with a degree measurement of 130, 58, and 29 degrees. If you add all these up, you get a total of 361. Like we said, it's going to be either a little over or a little under because of the fact that we're rounding those degrees. So 361 is our total. Now that's okay. So what we'll do from there is we're going to take our degrees and we're going to create a circle. And with that circle, we're going to draw one line from the center point to the outside. That's going to be our starting point. So now what we need to do is we need to use our chart and graph and measure the degrees for each of the individual angle measurements. So looking at our chart, we go back up and we see that our first 30-34 category has 43 degrees as an angle. So we go to our circle, we need a protractor, we have our protractor. We put the center point right on the center point of the protractor. Notice that the 0 degrees, okay, the 0 degrees is along that line, along with the 180, but remember we start counting from 0. Going back to our chart to remind ourselves, our degree measurement is 43 degrees. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make a mark somewhere, just a little light mark around the 43 degree mark, which is right around there. After that, we're going to take our protractor away. We're then going to take a ruler and we're going to connect the dot from the center point to that dot that we just made. Once we do that, we've just created the angle that represents 43 degrees, or 12% of the total, which represents the number of people that had a test score of 30 to 34%. Going back now, my suggestion would be to first maybe even just initial or do something so that you know which it is. So I'm going to put 30 to 34 as my category, and now I'm going to measure again. What I'm going to do next is go back to my chart, find that my degree measurement for the next category is 101 degrees, go to my circle, except now I don't want to measure from that same spot, I need to turn it. I need to move my circle so that it somehow gets to another degree. I need to get it so that it's turning a certain amount. Notice now my center point's still in the middle, but we have 0 degrees on the next line. So I do the same thing, 101 degrees. I take my protractor, line it up so 0 goes down the line, count up from 0 all the way to 101. Once I get to 101, I'm going to make a dot. I make the dot, remove my protractor, take my ruler from the center point to the outer edge through the dot, and now I have my second central angle. That category was 35 to 39. I continue that process until all of the degrees have been made. You may have a little bit of a smaller angle at the end, and that's because of the rounding, and obviously because there is some error when we're talking about how the protractor is organized. Tomorrow, when you use your data and use the project data, you will have some degrees that may be close to 362, 361, something like that, and that's okay. In the end, you'll then take some type of pen, highlighter, something, and you can color in each of the sections with a different color so that you can make it nice and pretty.